Ethan lived in Oakwood, a small town nestled amidst rolling hills. He loved exploring the nearby woods. He felt a connection to nature. The rustling leaves were like whispers to him. The babbling brook was his music. Ethan felt most alive, surrounded by nature's embrace. Ethan was a curious boy, always observing, always wondering. He spent hours watching ants build their colonies and squirrels chase each other through the trees. He felt a kinship with all creatures, big and small. Little did he know his life was about to change forever. The whispers of the wind held a secret, waiting for him to discover. One afternoon, the sky turned an ominous gray. The wind howled, whipping the trees into a frenzy. A storm was brewing, fiercer than any Ethan had ever seen. He watched from his window, both scared and strangely exhilarated. As the storm raged, Ethan felt a pull towards the woods. It was like something was calling him. He couldn't explain it, but he knew he had to go. He pulled on his raincoat and snuck out, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. He ran towards the heart of the woods, the wind pushing him forward. The wind howled around Ethan, the rain stinging his face. He reached his favorite clearing, a place where a giant oak tree stood, its branches reaching towards the sky. As lightning flashed, a surge of energy coursed through him. He felt a strange power surge within him. Ethan raised his hand instinctively, and the wind seemed to answer. It swirled around him, bending to his will. He focused on the rain, picturing it stopping, and for a moment, it did. Ethan stared in disbelief and awe. He could control the elements. Ethan spent the rest of the night practicing, marveling at his newfound abilities. He could summon wind, calm the rain, even coax a small flame from a twig. With each success, his fear gave way to a sense of wonder. But with this wonder came a heavy realization. This secret was his alone. He knew people wouldn't understand. They might be scared. He couldn't risk anyone finding out. Ethan decided to keep his powers a secret he would guard with his life. He would be the silent protector, the unseen guardian of Oakwood, using his gift for good. Section 5. The Silent Protector. Ethan continued his life as usual, going to school, hanging out with his friends, but everything had changed. He was no longer just Ethan, the curious boy who loved nature. He was Ethan, the guardian, the protector. He used his powers subtly, always careful not to be noticed. He helped wherever he could. He cleared debris from the road after a storm. He guided lost hikers back to the trail. He even saved a bird with a broken wing, mending it with a gentle touch of his power. He found joy in helping others, even if they were none the wiser. He was the silent guardian, and that was enough. Section 6. Whispers in the Wind. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Ethan grew more adept at controlling his powers. He learned to listen to the wind, to feel the subtle shifts in the air. The wind whispered secrets to him, warning him of danger, guiding him to those in need. One day he felt a tremor in the earth, a low rumble that spoke of impending danger. The wind carried the scent of salt and the roar of the ocean, even though Oakwood was miles from the coast. A storm was coming, unlike any they had seen before. This time, Ethan knew the stakes were higher. This time, he might have to reveal himself to save his town. Section 7. Nature's Fury Unleashed. The storm hit Oakwood with terrifying force. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing roofs from houses, uprooting trees. Rain lashed down in blinding sheets, flooding the streets. The usually peaceful creek that ran through the town had become a raging torrent, threatening to overflow its banks. Panic gripped the town. People were trapped in their homes, fear etched on their faces. Ethan knew he couldn't stay hidden any longer. He had to act, even if it meant revealing his secret. He had to save his town, his people, even if it meant risking everything. Section 8. The Guardian's Resolve. Ethan raced towards the heart of the storm, towards the raging creek. He knew that if the creek breached its banks, the entire town would be flooded. He had to use all his power to stop it. He reached the bank, the wind and rain lashing at him. Taking a deep breath, Ethan focused his will. He pictured the wind calming, the rain easing, the water receding. He poured every ounce of his strength into his vision. Slowly, gradually, the storm seemed to respond. The wind lessened its furious assault. The rain slowed to a drizzle, but the creek, swollen and angry, continued to rage. Section 9. A Town Saved. Ethan focused all his energy on the creek. He imagined the water flowing back upstream, the current slowing, the flood receding. He felt the strain in every muscle, every fiber of his being. But he held on, fueled by the desperate need to save his town. And then, slowly, miraculously, it happened. The creek began to recede. The water level dropped. The torrent that had threatened to engulf the town was now a gentle flow, returning to its peaceful state. The storm, as if exhausted from its own fury, finally subsided. The clouds parted, revealing a sky washed clean. The sun peeked out, casting a golden glow over the devastated town. Section 10. Echoes of Gratitude. As the townspeople emerged from their homes, surveying the damage, they couldn't believe their eyes. The storm that had threatened to destroy their town had vanished as quickly as it had arrived. They whispered amongst themselves, wondering about the miracle that had saved them. Some spoke of a sudden calm, a shift in the wind, a feeling that someone or something had been watching over them. Little did they know they were right. Ethan, exhausted but exhilarated, watched from the shadows, a small smile playing on his lips. He had saved them. He was their unseen guardian. Section 11. The Unseen Guardian. Ethan knew he couldn't reveal his secret, not yet, but he also knew he couldn't turn his back on his responsibility. He was the unseen guardian of Oakwood, bound to protect it from harm. He embraced his destiny, accepting the burden and the privilege that came with it. As long as the wind whispered his name, as long as nature called upon him, Ethan would answer. He would be there, the unseen guardian, watching over Oakwood, protecting it from the shadows, forever bound to the elements that had chosen him. He was their hope, their protector, their unseen guardian.